and welcome to our presentation titled CRM Functionalities within 2020 Insight. My name is Michael Gross. I'm Sales Director Factory North America and will be your presenter. The presentation topics that we want to cover with this presentations are: what is a CRM, CRM requirements, your customer's journey, the Insight architecture, and then the functionalities that are in 2020 Insight that support CRM. And then finally, we close with a summary. So let's move to the definition of a CRM. CRM is a platform connecting all information related to your customers. So anything that is customer related should be a part of it. Platform indicates that you have multiple components that can be integrated to the bigger solution, and you have a central point that acts almost like a information pipeline, moving data from one to the other place and then have it all resided in one spot. So anything that is related with a customer should be in a CRM. And then let's have a look at typical requirements. So typical requirements, from my point of view, is number one, being able to coordinate teams across different departments, different geographies, all people that touch a client, talk with a client, and in contact with information that is related to a project and a client. So, and you have to be able to connect all those different teams very easily. Then real-time is a key requirement, because if you're dealing with customers, you don't want to have all the information. You want to have the latest information. You want to know exactly what's happening right now. And therefore, real-time is key, right? It has to be instant. Easy access. So if it's only available on a laptop or on a computer, might be not the right CRM for you, right? So you have to have easy access. That also means if you are in the office, you want to have a laptop, a computer access, right? There are different ways of interacting with the CRM, and the number one focus should be, it should be not complicated, right? Easy stuff. It has to be easy. Now, easy sometimes comes at the cost of customization, right? So it's very easy, nice interface, but there might be a lot of limitations in what you can do. Now, the way you treat your clients, or the way how you interact with your clients, is part of the secret sauce, right? So it is important to have a lot of freedom to customize your process on how you service your clients as much as possible. So I think customization is really important, and it should be in a way that it doesn't really jeopardize the integrity of the system, right? So you want to have a lot of customization capability, but not at the cost of customizing actually the code, customizing the actual application, right? It's just the look and feel, and the processes should be customizable. Now, if it's easy to access, if you can make it your own, the next important part is, can you automate that? So can you automate as many processes as possible? So I think that's also a consideration by implementing or choosing a CRM. What are the options to enforce, ingrain certain best practices and take as much repetitive work out of the process? Because the more time your customer-facing personnel is able to interact with the client, the better it is. So if there are activities that are very repetitive and you can automate, the system should support that. And then technology agnostic. You don't want to buy in some technology that forces you into a particular hardware, or where you have no chance to branch out to third-party applications, because in this fastly changing world, we need to be able to collaborate with as many sources as possible to get the richest and most meaningful information for our clients and our employees. So I pull up this slide here just to reiterate the customers' journeys that are out there, right? So you have multiple scenarios of customers. So on one side, we have end consumers that are looking for engagement tools. You may have builders and architects that you're working with. There are designers and dealers that are out there, and maybe some of them are also dealing with or working with retailers, right? So all of them have different needs of communication and a different customer journey, right? The way how they interact with your company might be different. So at 2020, we have a whole ecosystem out there that helps you to embrace the different and the differences and the similarities of all those different clients. We have a way to provide them with now real-time or updated catalog information with our content in cloud delivery. I hope you had a chance to join some of my colleagues' presentations, and I believe just after this one, we will have additional one by Bruce Allen. So there is the way to get real-time information down, and then very importantly, how to get the orders to the point of manufacturing, and that is the domain where we from the Insight team help you out. There are different ways of receiving orders, interacting with clients, and then throughout the fulfillment process, we have different steps which you may disclose or not disclose to your client. If you look now in the world of Amazon with the UPS and FedEx, they tell you exactly where your product is that you ordered, right? You could do the same thing with Insight, where you give your clients a feedback whether the order is scheduled, whether the order is in assembly, whether it is about to be shipped, is it shipped, where it is at the installation part, and so on. So with 2020, you are able to obtain information across the entire journey of your clients, regardless who they may be. Quick architecture overview about Insight. I will not go too much in detail, but I think it's important for you to know that we have different ways of interacting and interfacing with end users, right? So on one side, we have like our shop floor application, browser clients. We have also classic desktop clients, and then for sales and service related users, we have mobile apps that are interacting with the employees and with your clients. We also have a very solid database server that is the backbone of your operation, and a workflow management system that I will introduce to you after we talk about the mobile apps. So let's have a look at the mobile apps first. So what you see here is basically a schematic on how we tie the information that we obtain on the road to the factory, right? So we have mobile apps that consist of three major categories. The first one is business intelligence. So this is predominantly information for managerial stuff to get an overview about key performance indicators. Then we have applications for the field sales to give them with all the latest information about your clients. And then we have also a service module that is designed to help people to succeed with their installation, right? So the way it works is service orders can be scheduled from the factory. You can tie into the schedules of your installers, guide them to the location, give them information of where to install what. The installer on their end can feedback when they completed the installation or if they've ran into some issues, right? So maybe there's something, some components were forgotten, or there have been some damages while the installation took place. So they can, at the point when it happens, send information back so that the factory can provide remedies for the situation. So you have a very tight integration from what's out there. Again, we said you need the right tools, you need the right way to interact, and you want to make it as easy as possible to have that information. So that's available through our web apps. Let's have a look, a deeper look in that. That is just some screenshots of the user interface. So field sales can look into their customer database, very straightforward, where you can have an overview about the addresses and contact information from your clients. You can look into the sales history. You can see current orders that are processed. And if you look at that screen, you see there's a list of orders, and inside is a status-driven application. So we keep track of each and every status. We will show you in a second how we do that in the workflow management system. And so with the app, the salesperson can really see, oh, this order is currently in process of the bill of material has been the process has been finished. This one is was a warranty, is acknowledged, and so on. So you see what's the status of the different orders. Then you can also get statistics about your top selling products, dive into that a little deeper. And then if you look at the customer side, so here have your sales orders. You can dive in deeper in the sales orders. In this case, you have the list of all the orders here, and this is 2087. So you can see what kind of order it is, what's the customer, what's the request date. You can customize a lot of these screens. So it's not just that you have to take it as it is. There's a lot of flexibility. You can make it your own. We said earlier, it's really important that you have the flexibility to make it fit to your requirements. And then it's a classic app. You can make calls directly from your mobile device using the customer database, and then you can add notes. You also can take videos and send them out, right? So that's a big help in my point of view. Now we talked about the mobile apps. Let's move on and have a look at the workflow management system, which is basically the area where you can define how your statuses are set up in the for your processes, right? So we basically have processes in sales processes that you want to control to different statuses. A status change can trigger notifications to people that should know about it, right? That's your users. These notifications can be controlled by you. That can be an email that goes out to somebody, or a text, or any other form of message, or they just see that the status has changed. You can trigger alerts with that. And again, it's you as a client, you have a lot of flexibility how you want to create these processes, the statuses, and what kind of alerts and actions you want to have. The system can also be automated. And with the automation, you can have certain triggering moments that lead to certain actions. An example that we see in a second is that you could deploy what we call a monitor that will look for incoming emails. And then in the incoming emails, the system will identify what is a KIT file, what is a order acknowledgement, and then take the attachment, route that to the operator or the sales clerk or the service clerk, and then provide the information for them to further processing without anything without any manual interference. So that's one of the areas where Insight really shines, because it is able to automate these processes to a very, very high degree. So it's pretty cool. Okay, so let's have a look in how that could look like in for a sales for a CRM, right? So a CRM functionality. So in this case, this is a very simplistic flow. We are in our workflow management environment. So what you see here, that's a representation of the process. This process is from a lead to approved client. You would have different statuses here. The errors that are shown here allow you to set up certain actions. These actions can be automated, that can be manual, or it can be stored stored procedures that you trigger, and they can also branch out, right? So you have basically no limit in how you can create that. This is what you see here. It's a modeling environment. Despite the fact that it's modeled, it's still representing how your system is reacting, right? So in this case, we have all those statuses defined in the workflow process, and then can see them when we go in the system where these clients are with in their status. So let's have a look at the next slide on how that works. So we are in Insight. And here we would look at our different clients, and to make it easier for the people that work with the clients, you can set up certain views, right? So the views are customizable however you want to have that. You can say if the customer status is greater, in this case 5,000, then it should be a part of that filter, and that means certain people could see only those deals that are, let's say, from Alabama, or those that are for a specific product line. So you can define the logic, what people can see, how they can see it, and then you can use those statuses that we just defined in the modeling environment also to show the status of your orders in your mobile app. So that would be additional screen that I just copied in there from the mobile app here. Okay. So besides just having a real-time view in where your orders are and the processes are and where you are in the sales process, because keep in mind, we are not only modeling production processes with Insight, you can also model your sales process, what we just did, right? So beside that, you can also manage your relationships, right? And in this case, we have the customer information here, and the customer has attached in a tab all the relationships. So you see there is Lynn Beal. She is the sales representative of our customer Urban Concept, right? So we have all the information about our clients and who are they represented by. We can add all kinds of relationships that are relevant for us in the sales process, such as architects, builders, contractors. So you can build out your contact contact database as shallow or deep as you want, right? So, and you also have the other side here. So beside the fact that Lynn Beal is here as the rep of this client, you'll also have Lynn Beal as a person in the system. And you see that she is not only the rep for Urban Concept, but also for other products, right? So that helps you to manage all relationships that are necessary or important for your customer relationships, right? Not only the client, but also the whole ecosystem around that. So we talked about business intelligence in another session. For sales, it's really important to have a quick overview about where they are, what are they doing, what are the top customer sales, what's the top product sales. They can slice and dice their sales portfolio as they need it, and they can access this information not only from their desktops but also from their mobile apps, right? So that is a big plus in my point of view, because at the end you're not looking every day in all the contacts. You want to see, you know, how is my business evolving, and then since this is data that you can display, you can also have graphs that are related to your opportunities, right? So you can do the same thing and then have graphs showing them. I want to stress the flexibility in our ecosystem to deal with incoming communication from clients. And I think this is also a huge area of differentiation of Insight as a CRM versus as a classic CRM, right? Because at one point in time, you would need to get your sales information, your orders into the CRM, right? In this case, they are already there, right? And more importantly, we are automating the way how they get there, right? So if you look again into this ecosystem of our clients, they have designer dealers, builders, architects, and retailers. They might use all kinds of different solutions, right? Obviously, we prefer they're staying in our ecosystem, but it's not realistic to believe that all will be. But we are able to accommodate all the 2020 design orders coming in as kit files in an email. We are able to do that with our product in Europe Fusion as well. For the office furniture industry, worksheet is relevant, and there is a whole other group of applications that we are able to import, right? So what happens here, we have monitors that are listening for certain types of documents. So if you have a large client that prefers a certain EDI format, we can have a monitor that listens exactly for that format, and then once the information is received, it will trigger a workflow that initiates further processing. Then on the email side, the system would be able to identify what kind of attachments are there, and then based on their types, also trigger certain responses. If you have your own e-commerce website, we are able with our web services to integrate that as well and import the orders from that, and then it applies to any XML schema as well. So with the monitors, we are automating the whole receiving part of the orders. It resides in Insight, and you would not have to do that, export this information again into a third-party CRM. So that's a huge benefit in my point. Yeah. As a summary, I would like to highlight that the permissions are also important. If you're working with customer data, it's always sensitive, and you want to make sure that you're able to control at each step who has the right to see the information and when they can see the information. So we allow permission and role-based real-time access to custom information and all third-party applications. So we are not closing the door and you can only work with 2020 data. Just the opposite. We are very open and are able to import third-party information and data that comes from third-party applications as well. You can model your process and automate them with the workflow management system. And finally, with the business intelligence, you're able to see the end result, right? And then you can see real-time information at the device of your choosing and stay always informed and on top of things. So this brings me to the end of this presentation. Thank you again, and I wish you a wonderful day. Bye-bye.